Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Season 7, Episode 2 Q&A. Sorry I'm a little late with this. I've been having some computer issues, but they are now resolved. And because I'm a little late, I brought on special guest Preston Brian Jacobs. Now, I realize that Preston Jacobs is your fake name. It's also your alias, so please include something that starts with a B as your fake middle name. That way I can call you PB&J.
Oh, so my middle name is well, Brian's too boring.
What about Preston Gilligan Jacobs? I know Gilligan's not a B, but something.
Oh, like Preston Greenfield,
Jesus Christ.
Preston This doesn't work.
So, guys, today Preston will be joining me in answering a couple of your questions, and yeah, let's get to it. From Patreon, Lauren says, do you think Jon will know his parentage by the end of the season? And does Varys know his parentage? I want to say I hope he doesn't know his parents by the end of the season, or by the end of the series at all. I'm expecting him to die at the end of season 8, because he's the hero we needed just in time for the crisis, and now that there is no crisis, we don't need him as much anymore. But I don't know. I hope he doesn't. Preston, do you want Jon to know his parents?
Uh, no, I mean I don't want his parent. I don't want his parentage to be trueborn. But I don't want his parentage to be special.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him being a bastard. Like I liked that aspect of him. It was something that was like negative. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Tyrion's a dwarf. Sam is a fat ass. Brienne's awkward. You
So
know,
you're
and
saying
and
like
and
it's Game of Thrones is cool because the best heroes are normal everyday schmucks.
well, right. You know, bastards and broken things. You know,
Mm.
like Jamie doesn't have a hand. You know, everybody has a little. You know, something against them. Is the
Hmm.
idea. And Davos is not highborn and can't read. You know, everybody has that thing, or they should. And it's just, I guess it. I guess if he dies and it's like lost potential, everyone's like, oh man, if everyone just knew the whole time, it would have been great, but they didn't. Like that's kind of George R. R. Martin, like missed
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. But I certainly don't want the ending to be Lord of the Rings where Aragorn sits the throne and
And we never find out his policy on homosexuality. And
right, right.
do you think Varys knows that who's Jon's parents are?
No.
No.
I don't think anybody knows at this point except
Helen
for
Reed.
Howland
Mm-hmm.
Reed and Bran.
What about Littlefinger? Littlefinger always alludes to it.
I mean, who knows? Show Littlefinger. He's so
Yeah, we'll
confusing.
get to that in a minute. Yeah, but I agree with you completely. Like, I just don't want Jon to know it. Like, what's the point in him knowing his parentage? It doesn't really change anything. It doesn't do much. He's way too special already with his plot armor and his perfect
Right.
fucking teeth that you just want to punch. His golden steel tooth that never break even if a strong guy grabs his head and smashes out on him. That annoys me so well. Perfectly shaped nose. Fuck you, Jon. Um,
Well, I mean, the thing is, it has nothing to do with his
mm,
plot. Like his parentage, in both book and show, has nothing to do with his plot. His book plot is about the Wall and what's north of the Wall, and then just at the end, like what's going down in Winterfell. You know, his show plot is about Winterfell and what's north of the Wall. He doesn't care about the Iron Throne. He never has. So like it's a completely irrelevant thing to anything, you know?
Next question. Why doesn't Euron attack Dany's main fleet, which is anchored at Dragonstone? If he uses those flaming projectiles and burns every ship, Dany and her armies would be stranded on Dragonstone. Dany has many mouths to feed, and if Euron blockaded the island, they would eventually starve. I wouldn't recommend him blockading shit, because the dragons can just fly in and burn the fuck out of them. But attacking
Yeah.
her fleet with flaming projectiles, I don't know, he could probably do that. Why doesn't he just attack her main fleet on Dragonstone and keep her stranded there?
I mean, I think the dragons is the best answer to
Mm-hmm.
that. Like you don't want to go near those dragons. You want to attack Danny's forces that are away from them. I mean, and even if they were to blockade Danny, like, she still has the Dornish and she still has the Tyrells. Like they can still do stuff.
Does she
So,
have still the Dornish and the Ty? I mean, the Tyrells. like here's the confusing part. Are the Tyrells still anchored with Dany, or did they leave with the Greyjoys? And then it's like because like at the end of season 6, we saw that there was a
Yeah,
massive Tyrell, Dornish, and Greyjoy fleet riding with her. So
right.
where's the Dornish fleet? Where's the rest of the Greyjoy fleet? Did
I found that confusing as
mm-hmm,
well, like that she ordered the Greyjoys to ferry the Dornish and the Tyrells up, and it's like they have their own ships. We saw
mm-hmm.
them, and then but Grey Worm also has ships, and they have Targaryen sails. Are those the Yunkish ships, or are they Greyjoy ships? Are they Tyrell ships? Are they Martell ships? It's tough to say like whose ship is
Do you think it's
whose.
possible that she that the Dornish and the Tyrells never fucking sailed with her from Marine to Westeros? Do you think it's possible that to show solidarity and allegiance, that they just took a bunch of like House Tyrell, House Martell sigils, put them on some random sails, and just put them on there to let everybody know that these are our allies? That they're not sailing with us; they're just our allies who happen to be coming over with us, maybe kind of. Would that make more sense? Like,
It would make more
mm-hmm.
sense if you didn't have Varys in that last scene. I mean, first of all, if I had to redo that last scene from season 6, I would have not had Varys there, and I would have eliminated the Dornish and Tyrell
Right.
sails because it just didn't make sense. Like didn't make sense for a lot of reasons. One, like you waited for them to sail all the way out there so you could sail back, but two, like the whole point of the alliance with Yara and Theon was for
Right.
ships,
Mm-hmm.
and so it takes away from the importance of the Yara alliance, which was really essential and important. I mean, so if I thought that was a bad choice, but no, I just don't think they would have bothered like dyeing sheets and bringing them up to show like
So do you think they met him halfway and then they just
solidarity,
sailed together as a sign of force and allegiance and solidarity?
like Med and Volantis kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like met halfway.
I don't know. Somewhere they bought those outfits, those new outfits, and I assume they had that work done in Volantis or Lice or something. Uh, I mean, I guess I don't know. We shouldn't think about it too much because it just won't make sense. But
So Euron attacking. I mean that would be a cool thing. Maybe he could send not his own like flagship, not his own stronger. Maybe he could use some of the bullshit ships he captures, put some flaming projectiles on them, and just destroy a lot of Danny's ships because he does have the range. Maybe. I mean the drag. I mean he could just send some like expendable men to go do the deed. But yeah, he could.
I
He
mean,
could
if I
strand
were
her.
Euron, I would be attacking Grey Worm right now. I'd be like all those ships parked off the coast of Casterly Rock, like boom, take them out. I mean, rule the seas. I mean, he's got the advantage.
Next question. Will Jorah be a part of the Fellowship of Winter? Now, for those of you who don't understand what the Fellowship of Winter is, that is the nickname a couple of us gave the group of people who go up beyond the wall, possibly to find proof of the White Walkers. It was in the trailer. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so will Jorah be part of the Fellowship of Winter? Yes, and I'll tell you why. Jorah is like a really because Stannis is gone, the showrunners need someone to shit on, and Jorah is the perfect person for that. Because there was no reason
Hmm.
to give him grayscale. There was no reason to give him to just. I, Jorah does get shit on a lot. He kind of does. He's gonna meet up with Jon Snow eventually, and Jon Snow and Dany, they're gonna get together because of course they are. Jorah also had to fucking sit there and watch Dario come out of Dany's room, and he knows what they were doing. I just feel bad for Jorah at this point, but Jorah will be a part of the Fellowship of Winter because he always ends up teaming up with people who fuck Dany and.
I mean, do we have to deal with like Jorah like getting like leaving again? Like, how many times does he have to have like a tearful goodbye from Danny?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, like you get exiled, and then you get exiled, and then and then you get sent up north to find a White Walker. How many tearful goodbyes?
This is why I said it before. I'll say it again. This is why Jorah should have gone to like Ashai or maybe back to Karth to find Quaithe because if they use some kind of bullshit magic on him to stop the grayscale, there could have been so many like there could have been so much you could have done with that, because what I love about the books is that you don't know who Azor Ahai is. Some people think it's Jon, people think it's Dany, some people think it's Victarion. I've seen some people come at it from that point too.
Some people think it's hot
Some
pie.
people think it's Hot Pie, the baker that was promised. So you could have done so much with Jorah. Like, so many people got on my case for this. So many people about me thinking Jorah and Sam meeting up was bullshit. Like, what do you think about that? Cause I don't know. I just hate how all these characters are finally all meeting up, and I don't know. Some people say it's legit because of course he would go to the Citadel. It's one of the biggest places in the world for learning and stuff like that. But I just think it's too much of a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's of course too much of a coincidence, but at the same time, like, had they played it a little different, like had they had Sam visiting lots of patients, and then and then he is one of 100 or one of 1,000 people at the Citadel. He, like, Sam would of course go Mormont. His name is Mormont, and go seek him out.
Mm-hmm.
Had they played it like that, it would have been different. But instead, it was like the one person that Sam happens to be,
Giving food to.
looking into medically. Yeah.
Well, but didn't he kind of do that? Didn't he say like Mormont? Like when by the way, it wasn't Marwyn. It was what's that guy's name? Ebros.
Ebros. I
Who
don't know. It
who,
doesn't
who
matter.
cares?
But yeah.
Wasn't he just helping Ebros with it, and and Sam happened to hear Mormont? I know Mormont.
Right. He did, and I suppose off screen maybe Sam is visiting 100 different
Mm-hmm.
patients. I don't know, but they only showed us do one. Had they done maybe part of the had they done the montage, had they had him like visiting patients in the montage, and I suppose they did. They had him doing bedpans. I guess those were patients. I just, yeah. And there are coincidences in the book too, though. I mean, Arya does run into Sam in Bravos, and Jorah runs into Tyrion in a whorehouse, and so they do have random coincidences. Tyrion runs into Cat and at the end
Yeah,
of the
but
crossroads.
the whole story there, the whole thing there is the story's much bigger. I feel like in the show it's way too contained. Like everybody just knows everybody in the sense. And I understand we can't do much with only 7 episodes left in this season.
Yeah.
But like I said, I feel as though he should have gone to like a Shy or maybe back to Quaithe and Karth, and we could have seen some really cool magic stuff. Because if this was George R. R. Martin, like you said, there's no way his grayscale would be cured and that's it. Something else has to happen to him. Consequence, always. Whenever, like for example, Danny wanted Khal Drogo to live, and he did in
Hmm.
a vegetated state. So I think if Jorah should have his grayscale cured, he should at least have something to off balance that. Like maybe he can't use his left hand. Maybe he has, I don't know, erectile dysfunction.
I mean, hopefully he's gonna have it's weird to say hopefully, but he should have massive scarring all over his
Oh,
body,
he's
right?
gonna.
I mean, that definitely went over his junk. I mean, it was like on his belt level. Like it was over his whole body, and like it was clearly going down below his belt.
Ugh.
I mean, Sam must have like been hacking away, you know, on his
Oh,
wee
dude.
wee.
God damn it. Don't say that.
That had to have been a thing.
Ugh. You think you think Sam went and tore off the skin? Oh, ugh.
Oh, by the way, did you notice that like Sam? Oh, did you read the article about Sam, the dermatologist, and how Sam did, like
Wait, like
cutting
some
off his
dermatologist
skin?
rated Sam on his performance in helping Jorah out.
Yeah, yeah, he
Didn't
did.
let me guess. He got on his case because he didn't wear gloves or or like a mask.
No, no. Well, he did get on his case for not wearing a mask, and he said actually Sam was doing a really good job on cutting, and tearing the skin. He was doing a really great job, and then he freaking wipes his mouth in the middle of the surgery, and you're just like, oh my god, Like, what is wrong with you, Sam? You just cut open like this pussy freaking grayscale and then you wiped your mouth. And he's like, oh, you definitely got grayscale.
So why do you think the White Walkers are taking babies? Like, what are those? I hate to think that we're gonna see like baby White Walkers, ugh, but that's gonna be so cringy. But like, why? We briefly went over this a while
Hmm.
back. So you think the White Walkers are taking babies because something about gene pool? Briefly go into this.
Yeah, and George R. R. Martin actually wrote about this in a couple of a few of his other stories actually. So in biology, if you don't have a wide enough gene pool, the fertility of an animal actually like decreases. So, and then eventually you get to a balance, a bottlenecking where the population can no longer kind of expand because, the women are only having like one or two children. And so the population isn't growing and it just kind of stagnates in this small gene, small population group. And so the idea is that the White Walkers have gotten stuck in this, that they don't have a very large gene pool, and they want to take babies to like increase the diversity of their gene pool biologically. They want to get some fresh blood, but instead they're getting this incest babies are the only ones available, which is pretty bad too. So they're just kind of stuck in this like cycle, you know. They used to have people off. They used to steal babies. The others take your baby. They used to have sacrifices to them, offerings to them at the night fort. So, and then they have to rely on Craster. So they're getting bad. They're getting bad genes, and I think that's the fundamental problem with their race, their
I
species.
guarantee you that the reason why they're taking babies will not be answered in the show. I guarantee you. Even though we had like a big fucking scene with it at the end of like one of the episodes of season 4, where where the Night's King
Yeah.
is actually fucking carrying this kid to the altar. I hope we don't see White Walker babies. I hope we don't see that. That's so cringy. Next question: do you think Euron got poisoned when he got hit by one of the Sand Snake's weapons? I want to say I hope so, but I hope when he's parading his prisoners around King's Landing, because we saw that in the preview. I hope he turns
Hmm.
back to Tyene and she's laughing at him saying, "Ha ha ha, you got poisoned." And I hope he turns around and says and smiles and says, darling, I've been all around this world and you don't learn a thing or two without taking special precautions." And he has like a little piece, little vial of antidote, and he drinks
Right.
it in front of
Right.
her just to show
Or
he's
maybe
prepared.
he's spent his life, developing an immunity to iocane power. Fuck, I stuttered that up. But yeah, he spent his life building up an immunity to iocane powder. Yes, that's.
Iocane powder.
Oh, it's the Princess Bride, yeah.
No.
Oh, jeez, it's a children's movie when I was young. But yes, the pirate Robin gets into a game of wits with with a gentleman, and the guy is poisoned. So our protagonist says he's poisoned one of two goblets, and the other guy has to drink. And so he starts doing this back and forth, like, well, you know, I think maybe you put it in yours, but then you would know that I know that you put it in yours, so you would have put it in mine. But then you would know that I knew that you put it, and it goes back and forth. And
Mm-hmm.
then he ends up drinking one, and the guy dies, and they say, "Oh my gosh, like how did you know which goblet was poisoned?" And he says, "Both goblets were poisoned. I've spent many years building up a resistance to iocane powder, which was the poison." It's very
Ah,
it's
that's a good one.
oh, I mean it's one of these nerdy quotes that people, like,
I've never seen it, so don't
oh my
worry.
god, it's like it's quoted just as much as Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like
I'll have to check it out. How old is that movie?
30 years.
Jesus Christ. So do you think Euron got poisoned?
No, I mean, didn't didn't Obara cut somebody in her battle in the Water Gardens? Am I misremembering?
No, that was Tyene who cut Bronn.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then yeah, Tyene cut Braun, and Braun wasn't poisoned.
Yes, he
Then
was.
he was poisoned later.
No, he was. She cut him, and then he got and her blade was coated with poison, and then they went to the jail cell, and it was I guess it was a slow moving poison. It takes a while to take effect.
Oh. Okay.
Because she uses the reason people think so is because Oberyn she fights the way Oberyn does
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
spear. So because Oberyn coated his weapon with poison, she's probably doing the same thing
It took that long for the poison to take effect for
for
Braun.
Bronn. Yeah, you don't remember?
I mean, I remember the tits.
Do
Um, the
you want me to bleep that out, by the way?
okay. The well, we see Euron like riding into town, um, and he seems fine. So I guess he wasn't poisoned because that's it's gonna take days for him to get to King's Landing.
Like I said, like I said, it'd be way better if he did get poisoned, but he was one step ahead. It would just prove how much of a fucking badass he
It
was.
would it would be. I think the thing is that Tyene is the poison one. Obar is not the poison one. So Obara cuts him. It's fine. Tyene didn't cut him.
Kind of fucking sand snake is that? Like someone got on Nymeria's case. Like, why the fuck would you fight him with a whip on a boat?
That's the thing is Lady Nim in the book has. I mean, she's got her whip, but she also has like a whole bunch of like hidden knives all over her body. So she has, she does have deadly weapons. I mean, a
But
whip.
that wasn't in the budget. It's not in the budget to keep Nymeria around for more than for more than 2 seconds. It's not in the budget to keep Ghost around, who
See,
hasn't appeared yet, by the way.
I'm gonna be controversial. I think it was really dumb that they killed off the sand snakes. I know.
How dare you? Everybody, it's like the cool thing to hate on the Sand Snakes. How fucking dare you not want what the other fan base wants? I bet you're one of those guys who thinks R plus L equals D.
But what I'm saying is that they didn't get enough time for to be killing them off already. Like, yes, we all hate them, but you're pot committed to making them part of the story. Like, you've introduced a character, you've got to do something with it. Like, yes, I hate it, but like, you've got to see it through. You can't just cut it short because that's even dumber too, right? That's the problem. I
But
mean,
they introduced him like 2 seasons ago in season 5.
right, but they didn't. But they hardly appeared. I mean, I feel that way about the Dornish plot. Like, yes, you messed up, but you've got to see it through. You introduce something. You can't just like have it not like unintroduced. That's ridiculous. That's even worse. You could have salvaged the sand snakes if you wanted. You could have turned it into something. You know, people hated Euron at first too, and now everybody freaking loves him. Like, people have short memories. They can be forgiving. You could have saved the sand
Well, people
snakes.
like Euron because he went in there like a badass. He proved himself, not because he killed the sand snakes, but because not only is his weapon fucking awesome, but he just entered the fray. He proved he was Ramsay, but Ramsay with balls.
Right. I mean,
So
like I say, I would have if I did the Sand Snakes this season, like knowing what we had, known. I would have had one of the Sand Snakes show up at the Citadel. I would have had another Sand Snake like show up in the north, and another Sand Snake, be somewhere else, and that would just be interesting, splitting them up, having the plot lines converge.
but that would require them to have personality, and a lot of them don't.
Sure, Grey Worm doesn't have a personality. Lots of people
That's
don't have
not true.
personalities.
Grey Worm has a personality. He's stern and quiet. That's the
right.
personality.
Yes, and sad and horny.
Someone was asking, like, how come all the virgins know how to eat pussy? Like,
I mean,
what the fuck is the...
I know. Ugh. There's so many little things that I would do. I mean, I would do something that would mix things up. I would have one of the Sand Snakes be secretly a Littlefinger spy, or have
which one?
Lady Nim. Or I would have, because Lady Nim had the least personality of all of them. I would have Podrick Payne be a Littlefinger spy.
Oh, stop it.
I would
Now you're
just,
being ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, it'd just be cool, you know? Or I'd have, and then how about this? One be a Littlefinger spy and one be a Varys spy. Oh, at the
That
same
would be cool.
time.
And you know what? That would make a lot of sense because a lot of people were asking, how did Euron find the Greyjoy escort fleet so quick?
Oh, I know, right?
So that would be very interesting. But speaking of Littlefinger, one next question is, why is Littlefinger making dumb moves this season? Do you think Littlefinger will end up setting up Jon like he did Ned? No, he won't set up Jon like he did Ned because Jon is not in a position to be set up like that. I feel like Jon has no more patience anymore. Ned has a lot of patience. Jon, not so much. Not only that, though, but dumb moves. Did you catch the whole thing about give Lord Tyrion my regards? Bro, Lord Tyrion fucking hates you. Come on, dude. Are you serious?
Well, I mean, the theory would be like he's counting on that. Like, Jon is going to arrive, and then Tyrion's going to be like, what? You're hanging out with Littlefinger? You do know that Littlefinger, like, stopped your dad's coup and essentially is responsible for his death. In the book, probably his execution. In the show, at least stopping the coup. Like, what are you thinking teaming up with him? And then Jon would be like, what? Really? God, I've got to go back and, deal with him. And then he'd go back to Winterfell angry, and I don't know what would happen next.
Well, Littlefinger is definitely making mistakes, and I don't blame the character. The writing for him is so bad. The showrunners, and I hope you back me up on this. The showrunners don't know how to write off major characters. They know how to write off secondary characters. Actually, not even that. Like, they don't even know how,
No,
the showrunners don't know how to write off characters without George's helping hand.
Right. I mean, they don't know how to do something. They don't know how to be ballsy. Like I said, the ballsiest thing you could do is just kill Arya right now. I would.
You're dead set on that.
I just would respect the show so much if you killed off Arya.
Mm-hmm.
Or Sansa. I mean, that would be less ballsy because she's not a fan favorite. I'm just saying.
Sansa's not a fan favorite, but she can be redeemed.
Kill
Maisie Williams, Arya, can she be redeemed?
I'm just saying, if they kill a fan favorite, like the show's redeemed, but they're not going to until the last season.
If they really wanted to give Littlefinger something to do, have him team up with Cersei secretly. He wants Sansa. I get it. You're probably not going to get the throne. Dany throws a monkey wrench in there. The least you could do is walk away with something else you want, which is Sansa. So make a deal with Cersei. Have Jon killed, which is what he should plan to do with the Veiled Forces, and forcibly marry Sansa and rule the North in Cersei's name, with Sansa as his bride. That's what he wants. So why not just do that?
I mean, if the idea is chaos is a ladder, Littlefinger right now should be causing chaos, not in his own camp. He should be causing chaos in Dany's camp.
Yeah. That would make more sense. I would have liked that if, like, Lady Nym, or at least some other secondary character that they should have introduced with the House Martell stuff, would have been like maybe Darkstar. Darkstar would have been Littlefinger's spy.
I mean, what would be very Littlefinger of him would be to actually like find those points of tension in Dany's camp, Tyrion and Ilaria, Varys and Dany, and exploit those and break them apart and cause a civil war and cause them to kill each other.
Right.
That's what he should be doing. Because, have them all kill themselves off, and then him and his Veil forces can conquer the Iron Throne. That's, but instead he's causing chaos in he's shitting where he eats. Like, that's the problem.
All right, but and last question here. What's your take on the whole "That's Not You" Arya scene with Nymeria? This was kind of answered by the showrunners, but
yeah.
Preston, what's your take on this?
See, yeah, the first time I saw the scene, I would say this is how I reacted when I watched it. When Nymeria started walking away, I started thinking, oh my gosh, like, Nymeria thinks Arya is a piece of shit. Like, that's pretty cool. Because they just had the scene of her being broken
Mm-hmm.
with Hot Pie. And I'm like, oh, they're finally recognizing that Arya is nuts and crazy. And so even Nymeria is like, dude, I cannot be with you. But but then Arya smiles and says, that's not you. And then I was like, oh, what does that mean? And then when the showrunners, said like, oh, we're referring to season 1, but that doesn't make any sense. Like they explain it as Nymeria's wild and Arya is choosing to domesticate by going home to Winterfell. And so, like, what is the theme? Like, what is the message of that? That we should be happy that Arya is domesticating or unhappy that Arya is domesticating? Like, is it a sad thing that she's going home? Because Nymeria, like, is she supposed to be wild? And if we're referencing season 1, the whole point of Arya saying that's not me is she's saying my life is not part of the patriarchy. Like, that's what that whole scene was about. Like, Ned is like, you're going to be like somebody's wife and you're going to have kids. And she says, no, that's not me. Like, I'm not going to be part of gender roles, right? And so, like, what are we supposed to, like, how are we interpreting, like, all of a sudden Arya going home? Like, that she's accepting the patriarchy? Like, like, they're referencing a season 1 thing that has nothing to do with her relationship with Nymeria now or her problem now. Like, right now her thing is about, am I choosing revenge or am I choosing family? And that has nothing to do with, like, the first season idea of traditional female role versus non-traditional female role. It was one of the worst thematic connections I could possibly have come up with. But they did it. I don't know.
I just my whole thing is, why bring back Nymeria in the first place? I don't see a point. I originally I took it as Nymeria rejecting Arya and who she is now, because she's completely different. She's a totally different person. I mean, it would have made more sense to me if Hot Pie kind of rejected her.
But
Mm-hmm.
and then she smiled and said, that's not you. And I was like, oh, that's too bad. Like, I would have liked the scene a lot better had Arya said nothing and Nymeria just walked away and Arya was puzzled. Like, I just got dissed by my wolf.
I like that a lot of the wolves next to Nymeria resemble the previous wolves of the Stark kids.
Yeah,
Did you notice that?
yeah. Well, CGI budgets or whatever.
I do hope that at the end, though, at the very final season, Arya is either dead, which won't happen. She's a fan favorite, maybe in the books. Either she dies, or she realizes that normal life is not for her, because we spoke about this briefly yesterday about how in the movie The Hurt Locker, Jeremy Renner's character loves being in the war in Afghanistan and the war in the Middle East. When he comes home, civilian life is just boring for him. I would love Arya, her bittersweet ending, to be that she just can't cope with just being a normal girl living a normal life anymore. She has to be enveloped in death, and she has to go back to Jonkin. That's what makes sense as to why he let her go, why he smiled like that, because he knows she'll be back.
I would like that. I would like that.
All right, Preston, let's call it a wrap here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I do apologize. I didn't get my Q&A out earlier. Was having some computer issues, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time in the episode... Oh, fuck. Is that episode 5 we were doing?
We're on episode 4 for the podcast. Our next one would be episode 4. Wait, no?
No.
It's episode 5.
Episode 4 is on your channel.
Episode
Yeah.
5. Episode 5. All right, episode 5.
We will see you next time for episode 5. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Baba Booey.